Tonight, 4 games tip off at the same time, all at 8 o'clock Eastern, and each one features a team either chasing position or trying to save a season. Welcome to the Hardwood Report. I'm Ryder Bullock. Our feature matchup comes from Oklahoma City, where the San Antonio Spurs face the Thunder, the top team in the Western Conference. But we'll also take you to New Orleans, Milwaukee, and Houston, breaking down every game, every matchup, and what to watch before the ball goes up. Let's get started. We begin in Oklahoma City. The Thunder, 33-7 and first in the Western Conference, have been the league's most consistent team on both ends of the floor. They score nearly 122 points per game, defend without fouling, and force mistakes that turn into quick offenses. At the center of it all is the reigning MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, averaging almost 32 points a night, combining efficiency with patience. He's a scorer who rarely forces the issue, but tonight they face a team that already knows how to beat them. The San Antonio Spurs, 27-12 and second in the West, won their most recent meeting on Christmas Day by 15. That game told us a lot about who San Antonio is becoming. They rebound, they defend in the paint, and they slow the game down just enough to let Victor Wembanyama impose himself. Over the last 10 games, Wembanyama has been a star. He's averaging more than 20 points, altering shots even when he doesn't block them. His presence alone changes how opponents tack the rim. And then there's De'Aaron Fox, my X factor, the pace setter. De'Aaron Fox averages over 20 points and nearly 6 assists, and when he gets downhill, San Antonio becomes very difficult to guard. Now for Oklahoma City, injuries loom large. Isaiah Hartenstein is out tonight, and that matters against a Spurs team that ranks among the league's best on the offensive glass. Second chances could be a deciding factor. The numbers tell us this will be a contrast. Oklahoma City scores nearly 9 points per game more than San Antonio typically allows. San Antonio shoots better from the field than most teams manage against the Thunder's defense. So something has to give. The Thunder want pace, the Spurs want control, and when these two ideas meet, the result often comes down to execution in the final 5 minutes. Next stop, New Orleans. The Pelicans are struggling. There's no way around it. They've lost 9 of their last 10 and are at the bottom of the Western Conference standings. But tonight they're at home and desperate. They face a Denver Nuggets team that on paper looks like a contender, but arrived shorthanded. No Nikola Jokic and no Jamal Murray, and that changes everything. Denver has relied on balance and defense during this stretch, with Peyton Watson stepping into a larger scoring role. He exploded for 32 points in the last meeting between these teams. For New Orleans, the question is this: effort and execution. Is it there? They average nearly 115 points per game, but give up over 121 across the last 10, a margin that simply doesn't win in this league. Zion Williamson has been productive individually, but the Pelicans need stops, and they need them early. This is a game where energy matters. If New Orleans can dictate tempo and defend without fouling, they give themselves a chance. If not, Denver's discipline may be enough, even shorthanded. Timberwolves taking on the Bucks in Milwaukee. It's a non-conference matchup with a playoff feel. The Bucks have been uneven this season, but one thing remains constant. Giannis Antetokounmpo, nearly 30 points a night, nearly 10 rebounds, and the ability to take over a game whenever he chooses. Milwaukee is solid defensively at home, and they'll need that against a Minnesota Timberwolves team that has been one of the league's best scoring units over the last 10 games. Anthony Edwards continues to make the leap from star to centerpiece, averaging almost 29 points per game, while Julius Randle has provided stability and physicality inside. These teams met in December, and Minnesota won a tight one. Tonight's key will be shot selection and transition defense. Both teams want to run, but both can also grind. The one that controls pace and avoids live ball turnovers likely controls the game. Bulls taking on the Rockets tonight. The Rockets have quietly become one of the toughest home teams in the league, winners of 6 straight in the building. They protect the ball, rebound well, and turn defense into offense. Amen Thompson continues to impress with efficiency and physicality, while Houston's defensive numbers at home are among the league's best. Bulls, meanwhile, thrive in transition. They lead the league in fast break scoring. And when Kobe White and Vuvek get early touches, Chicago can score in bunches. But the challenge tonight is discipline. Houston doesn't beat itself. If Chicago can't force turnovers and speed the game up, they'll be playing into the Rockets' hands. More on those games in a moment. But first, here's what's trending in the NBA. We start with Anthony Davis, who will not need surgery on his injured left hand after seeking a second opinion in Los Angeles. He'll be reevaluated in 6 weeks, though he could still miss up to 2 months. Dallas had initially prepared for a longer absence. Meanwhile, trade discussions involving Davis are active as the February 5th deadline approaches. Injuries have limited Davis to just 29 games, with Dallas since arriving in last year's Luka Doncic blockbuster trade. The Mavericks are 10-10 with him, 5-15 without him, as the franchise looks ahead while building around Rookie of the Year candidate Cooper Flagg. The NBA has sided with the Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla, ruling that Pacers star Pascal Siakam sent an illegal screen before hitting the game-winning shot in Indiana's 98-96 win over Boston. The league's last 2-minute report labeled it an incorrect non-call, confirming Mazzulla's blunt post-game assessment. The ruling comes amid mounting frustration in Boston, including a $35,000 fine issued to Jaylen Brown earlier this week for criticizing officiating. History. Watch. James Harden climbs the scoring list. James Harden passed Shaquille O'Neal for 9th all-time on the NBA scoring list, hitting the milestone with a third-quarter three in the Clippers win over Charlotte. Harden now has 28,614 career points, continuing a strong season in which he's averaging 25.6 points per game, his best mark since 2020. He also ranks second all-time in three-pointers made and recently cracked the top 12 in assists. Kyle Lowry received a standing ovation in what could be his final game in Toronto as the 76ers beat the Raptors 115-102. Longtime Raptors star checked in for the final 2 minutes after fans chanted his name, marking an emotional return to the city where he spent 9 seasons and won the 2019 title. Lowry reiterated plans to retire as a Raptor, calling the moment one of the most meaningful of his career. So that's what's trending in the NBA. We're also tracking the 4:30 start between the Suns and the Heat. Get you a quick score recap on that one. Heat lead at 18-11, 5:44 left to play in the first. Booker has 2 points for Phoenix. Getting you ready, though, for the Warriors and the Timberwolves. That game in about 3 hours from now. Warriors trying to end an 8-game win streak for the Timberwolves. The Trailblazers are on an 8-game winning streak. Stephen Curry trying to stop that. We'll have that one for you in the nightcap. But before we do that, it's a showdown near the very top of the Western Conference standings. The first place, Oklahoma City Thunder, owners of a 33-7 record, welcome in the San Antonio Spurs, who arrive at 27-12 and sitting second in the West. And make no mistake, this is more than just a meeting of contenders. This is a measuring stick game. Oklahoma City enters tonight running a 3-game win streak, and they've been dominant within the conference, posting a 26-6 record against Western opponents. What separates the Thunder is balance and elite scoring paired with discipline, disruptive defense. They average 121.4 points per game, nearly 9 points more than San Antonio typically allows, and they've done it without sacrificing efficiency or effort on the other end of the floor. Defensively, Oklahoma City ranks 4th in the Western Conference in defensive rebounding, pulling down nearly 35 boards per game. Isaiah Hartenstein has been central to that effort, averaging 7 rebounds a night, though the Thunder will be without him this evening due to a calf injury. one of several notable absences that will test their depth. For San Antonio, this is an opportunity to remind the conference and perhaps themselves exactly who they are. The Spurs have gone 15-10 against the West, and they've built their identity on physicality, length, and work on the glass. San Antonio ranks 7th in the conference in offensive rebounding, led by Luke Cornett, whose ability to extend possessions has been a quiet but important factor in their success. And history suggests the Spurs won't be intimidated by the moment or the building. These teams meet tonight for the 4th time this season, and it was all San Antonio. In their last meeting on Christmas Day, Spurs won at 117-102. That result still lingers, particularly for an Oklahoma City team that has been nearly unbeatable at home. At the center of it all is one of the league's brightest stars, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, continuing to play at an MVP level, proving why he is the MVP, averaging 31.9 points and 6.4 assists per game. He sets the tone offensively, attacking from every level. And over the last 10 games, Jalen Williams has provided steady support, averaging just over 17 points per contest. Together, they form a backcourt pairing that is as efficient as it is relentless. But San Antonio counters with star power of its own. De'Aaron Fox, who leads the Spurs with 20.7 points, 5.8 assists, bringing speed, composure, and late-game shot-making. And then there's the one, the only Victor Wembanyama, already one of the most fascinating players in the sport. Over his last 10 games, Wembanyama is averaging 20 points, impacting both ends of the floor. With his length, timing, and presence, every possession he's involved in feels consequential. Looking at recent form, Oklahoma City has gone 7-3 over its last 10, averaging nearly 120 points per game, while focusing on forcing turnovers and protecting the rim, over 10 steals and nearly 7 blocks per night. San Antonio, meanwhile, sits at 5-5, scoring less but rebounding more and relying on second chances to stay competitive. Injuries will play a role tonight. The Thunder are without Hartenstein, Nikola Topic, and Thomas Sorber, while San Antonio will miss Devin Vassell. How each team adapts, particularly in the front court, could decide this game. So tonight, it's first versus second, pace versus power, precision versus persistence. The Thunder are looking to extend their gap on the top of the Western Conference. The Spurs are looking to prove they still have the formula to beat them. Tip-off is coming up next from Oklahoma City. We will see you at halftime.